Good morning, everybody. Hope the sound is okay. Sometimes it could be a little bit odd happening in the mornings like this. Well, looks like you know. Oh wow, look at all these fine folks we have coming in here. Good to see you, Megan. Good to see you, Jude. Hey, Jude. She has an interesting story to tell me how she runs off with musicians and becomes like the little road dog. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I can't wait to hear this story. This is going to be good. Good morning, Flatty. My favorite. Farrell, how are you? Actually, you all are my favorite. Farrell is has a special place in my heart. Just, I was giving her a hard time yesterday. Megan, it's 10:30 p.m. and if you had your usual coffee, you wouldn't be going to bed this time tomorrow as I have squad shot espresso. Ooh, quad shot. See, I can't even pronounce words this morning. Good Lord Almighty. Oh yeah, so we're getting tons of rain today, which will make it very interesting throughout the day. I'll have to keep an eye on it to see if we've got floodwaters in our basement, which is why you see everything that you see around. Of course, I've got my casting couch over here, so I think we're all set up. Mm, what a morning. What a morning. Dental appointments for the boys. Oof. That's always fun. Let me see if I can turn that thing just a little bit there. Yeah, that might be better. hmm Hi, Candy. Arm candy, eye candy. hmm I got you. I got you. I can believe it. I can believe that. I have run across many women on the road that have have gone on to do much better things than I have. Um, what is it? National holiday tomorrow, so it's a public holiday. Okay, okay, that's right. I think Australia Day is coming up. If I'm not mistaken, I saw something about that. Well, we'll get into Texas here in a little bit, but before I do that, I wanted to, if you remember, was it yesterday? Time, I have no concept of it anymore. It exists to make sure that I eat, sleep, and do YouTube. So it exists. It exists. Um, I had a conversation with. Well, I've had a couple of tweets with somebody that hopefully I can have them on as a guest on uh, next week. My schedule for the evenings is a little difficult to handle right now. Just for the next couple of days. Friday is going to be a banger of a day. Hopefully, I can do a little bit longer show on Friday. Um, but I had spoke about this to celebrate. Oh, yes, it is tomorrow. It is tomorrow for you. That's true. That is very true. It is tomorrow. Um, but I had pulled this one up, and we spoke about this about Jeff DeWitt. Yeah, the Arizona Republican Party chair that came in. Well, he resigned Wednesday. So yesterday he resigned after he could be heard in a leaked recording offering a job and asking U.S. Senate candidate Carrie Lake to name a price that would keep her out of politics. Dweck's departure shakes up the Republican Party in a battleground state that will feature prominently in the battle for control of the White House and U.S. Senate in November election. Uh, at the time of recording this last March, let me see if I can zoom in. I'm used to not doing this on this kind of thing. That's better. All right. So at the time of the recording last March, so this was recorded last March. Wow. Carrie Lake was waging an unsuccessful court fight challenging for the loss in her 2022 race for Arizona governor and gearing up for a U.S. Senate uh, campaign. Meanwhile, Republicans in Washington, bruised by a disappointing showing in the midterms, were talking openly about plans to seek GOP Senate nominees who would be more viable in general elections. They're very powerful people that want to keep you out. Do it. Tells Lake in what he described as a selectively edited recording, but they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. He did not say who asked him to approach Lake, but said they were back east. He asked her repeatedly not to tell anyone about the conversation. Is the number at which, before Lake re-interjects, "Can I be bought?" In a statement announcing his resignation, DeWitt said he planned to fight to keep his job until Lake's team gave him an ultimatum to resign, or she could release another more damaging record. Wow. I'm, hold on. No, I did not. I did not drink the poison this morning. I'm truly unsure of its contents, but considering our numerous past open conversations as friends, I've decided not to take the risk. Uh huh. In other words, she's got more on you that she can't really, she hasn't released, that might be even more damaging. And knowing that she has that in her back pocket might keep them at bay. He said he didn't intend to bribe Lake, but was offering candid advice for her to sit out of the Senate race and run again for governor in 2026. He was employing Lake at his private company at the time, he said. Oh, man. And they'd had many conversations while I was looking out for her financial interests. Our relationship was based on friendship, and the conversation that is now being scrutinized was an open, unguarded exchange between friends in the living room of her house. I genuinely believed I was offering a helpful perspective to someone I considered a friend. Lake Senior's advisors, Garrett Ventry and Caroline Wren, said in a statement that no one from Kerry Lake campaign threatened or blackmailed DeWitt. Lake, a former television, yeah, we know what she used to do. She routinely wears a small microphone during her public appearances, while her husband, a former news photographer, records her interactions with supporters, critics, and the press, and anyone else she encounters. She sometimes posts videos of confrontational encounters on social media. A Twitter account associated with Lake's campaign published a video of her attorney talking on speakerphone with lawyer from Maricopa County as Lake claimed the county stole the 2022 election for the Arizona governor from her. Of course, they repeatedly rejected her claims of fraud. It even as Lake delivered campaign style talking points for an audience, not the room, DeWitt did not seem to catch on that he was being recorded. The recording first published by Daily Mail was leaked days before former Trump has appeared to schedule at a fundraiser for the Arizona GOP, which is in desperate need of cash, and the party's annual state committee meeting. Pardon me. Without naming her visitor, Lake has repeatedly described the meeting in her public appearances, using it to bolster her image as an outsider shaking up a corrupt establishment. Man, nothing like having a burp right in the middle of talking. National it's tomorrow. And it says, can I too celebrate? Yes. No, Australia. Did someone not future delete himself? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Anyhow, that's really about all there is to it. It looks like the GOP is trying to make it sound like, well, he did this to try to look out for her well-being. Oh, hey Mo, how you doing? Do you want to come on for a little bit? It'd be awesome. I'll send you a nice little invite if you've gotten the time. Give me just a second, because I am so bad at this kind of stuff. I need to start doing this in the morning. Just drop one to you. Find it. No, I got you there. There you are. Okay, thanks. And there you go. There we are. There we are. I am so slack. Hey, Rabbit. That's fine. Fine. No worries. There we go. All right. That makes me feel good as always. Where is? Just gonna put down that right there. Man, oh man. Mm, these people think that they can just play with us like this, that we don't notice. that we don't notice what they're throwing down, and we can pretty much guarantee that after the New Hampshire primaries. Oh, speaking of lovely ladies, Mo in the deep end.
Hello.
Hello.
It's well, like I said in the comments, someone didn't future delete himself.
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about that.
Uh to a point, no, but uh look, big pockets, dark money do not like being exposed. So,
Well, as long
I
as he keeps his mouth shut about who that person back east is.
mm, but the internet and weaponized tism, if you don't think 4chan is working on this behind the scene or any of the chans, look, people
Oh,
that
yeah.
know the internet much more than me, I'm sure are look, if we could defeat Shia LaBeouf with We Shall Be United in about 15 seconds,
Yeah. Yeah, if they could go after AOC standing at the border crying and weeping.
it's just it is to have in glaring audio, even deceptively edited audio, made clear, laid bare certain things that we've all known but have kind of been, this is how the sausage is made, is really eye opening. I mean, we've always kind of known these back deals go. Again, why all of, look, I blame the boomers. Y'all had a chance with Goldwater. Had
Yeah,
I been able to vote for Goldwater, I would have. And I do blame, look, I blame SNL for making fun of Ross Perot. He actually had really good ideas. Now looking back, I was like, wait a minute, we were all just making fun of his ears. And can I finish? Can I finish? If I could
cannot
just
finish.
finish.
Yep,
And I was like, wait a minute, the man had really good ideas.
I know. I know. Yes, that new tab. That's what I'm looking for, so I can zoom in on this. So I did manage to pull this one up. This is, let's see if I've got it here. So this was his outgoing statement for from Chairman Duet, which I'm sure what he wrote this all himself. In light of the recent revelation that Carrie Lake has released a selectively edited audio recording, which I agree it was selectively edited, but it was probably taking out personal things might that were not relevant to the conversation at hand, or maybe she left things out of you know people's names, which would keep her from having issues later on down the road. She's not a dumb lady, as a lot of people think.
Sh- She's been in the media machine, and I think that's what's so terrifying for them is that she knows a lot of this backroom, how optics are. She knows where to hit them. She knows how to present things. If anything, she is more formidable than, if Trump is a hammer, Carrie Lake is a scalpel. Because Trump is a hammer, but Carrie Lake can go in and say the words in a way that gets the
That's not as
message
fast.
across in a palatable way, instead of Trump gets the sound bite, but he doesn't always get the information or the correct, facts in, so then they can come in and fact check right
Right.
behind and say, well, he was actually talking about Nancy Pelosi instead of Nikki Haley, and what an idiot. He's probably mentally subnormal.
Oh, but you know what was so beautiful about that? I mean, it, and I'm not sure if I can say this because they pointed it out to me, but it was somebody pointed out to me that it was brilliant him doing that because he got all of the news media cycle, like everybody, CNN, NBC, Twitter, every single person admitting that Nancy Pelosi was in charge of January 6th security.
But did that
I mean, that
change
is
anyone's
so brilliant.
perception but did that change anyone's perception of January 6th?
Doesn't
Did
matter.
it start a cl
Whenever people start bringing that up, all he has to do is play that clip over and over and over and over ad nauseum, where the whenever they start saying, well, Trump was, and this is for future Trump on down the road, whenever that it becomes a big issue of them saying he incited this, he caused it, and he had a chance to secure uh, the White House and had all, he was in charge of all of this. He can bring it out and be like, no, I mean, I've got you boys on tape admitting this.
I do wish that look, as much as I wish that he was as strategic as that, sometimes I feel like then someone says, "Yeah, but," and then he's like, "Okay, and you look like Skeletor the Crypt Keeper." So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
somewhat look, all I have to say is I stand with Tex America.
You love
God
that, huh?
bless Tex America
That is
land.
going to be insane because if you read the letter, if
I
you read the letter that he sent.
okay, full backstory of last night. So in honoring my promise to my viewers, I did watch, since it is on streaming, I watched the 3 hour long mental torture that was the Barbie movie, fully cheering for the commercial breaks because we didn't buy the non ad supported tier of HBO Max. And can I tell you, I love you, Butterfingers ads. Thank you for saving my sanity. And then Mr. Mo took me out on a date because I deserved it. So I may or may not have had the Texas uh, Long Island iced tea flight. And then I went home and went to bed because Mo doesn't drink drinks that other people make because they make them for adult people and not children. So, and they were
Well,
$13,
we
so I
will
had to
read
drink
it.
them all.
It is a short letter, but we'll read it here because that's
He
how kind
basically just
you
origamied it
are.
up and put a middle finger up, and he was like,
Oh no, it's more than that. I mean, if you read what he says,
"Oh,
this is pretty brutal. The federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal laws protecting states, including immigration laws on the books right now. President Biden has refused to enforce those laws and even violated them. The result is he has smashed records for illegal immigration, despite having been put on notice in a series of letters, one of which I delivered to him by hand. President Biden has ignored Texas's demands that he perform his constitutional duties. President Biden has violated his oath to faithfully execute immigration laws enacted by Congress. Instead of prosecuting immigrants for the federal crime of illegal entry, President Biden has sent his lawyers into federal courts to sue Texas for taking action to secure the border. President Biden has instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. The effect is to illegally allow their en masse parole into the United States. By wasting tax dollars to tear open Texas border's security infrastructure, President Biden has enticed illegal immigrants away from the 28 legal entry points along this state's southern border. 28 legal entry points, where bridges where nobody drowns, and into dangerous waters of the Rio Grande. Under President Biden's lawless border policies, more than 6 million illegal immigrants have crossed our border in just 3 years. That is more than the population of 33 different states in this country. This illegal refusal to protect the states has inflicted unprecedented harm on the people all across the United States. James Madison Alexander Hamilton and the other visionaries who wrote the U.S. Constitution foresaw that states should not be left open to the mercy of lawless president who does nothing to stop external threats like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. I doubt that's not true because I don't think they knew about illegal cartels. That is why the framers
Well,
included both Article 4, hold on, which promises that the federal government shall protect each state against invasion, and Article 1, 10, Clause 3, which acknowledges the state's sovereign interest in protecting their borders, Arizona versus United States. The failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, subsection 4, has triggered Article 1, subsection 10, clause 3, which reserves to this state the right to self-defense. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, subsection 10, clause 3, to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes. To the contrary, the Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority as well as state law to secure the Texas border. That's it. That ends anything that Supreme
well,
Court can come in.
yeah, and uh, above all, the only legitimate purview of the federal government is to protect its sovereign borders. It's so again, it is being neglectful, it is being derelict in its only legitimate duty, as far as I can tell. Now, again, we can have a deeper philosophical and humanitarian discussion after we secure the border about, revamping, immigration law. We can discuss a point system. We can discuss, okay, uh, let's, but we need to be very realistic about the fact that a lot of these people are economic migrants, not asylees. There's a
Right?
difference.
Big
Uh,
difference.
there's a big difference. There are safe third countries. There are other things. So, it, this is a what you are going to have happen, and what I fear is that this is going to breed not more humanitarian love. This is going to breed more division because if you see American people, homeless people, veterans, and people that are just out of college, American citizens who have, mountains of debt that can't, millennials, kids coming out of college that look to the future and never see the fact that they may be able to have a house. They're going to be living with their parents forever. And then you have people that are claiming asylum from the Congo, in a hotel room, getting free
Yeah,
education, free college, free. Nothing is going to
makes sense.
engender an environment. They call President Trump, rightly or wrongly, you can like him, lump him, want him trebucheted into the sun. I don't care. They call him a strong man. He's not that.
No.
But waiting in the wings is someone who will come in and say something much more radical. You are creating a great swath of hopeless generation that sees nothing going forward. And this is exactly the hyperinflated, hopeless generation that was in Weimar Germany right in the 20s. You
Yes.
do not want this. We have people wanting to go full communist.
Yes.
What I foresee if we don't have is that the pendulum is going to swing back. And I don't want that. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm not trying to be like, ooh,
Yeah, because
we
it
need to have these
becomes
hard
these are discussions because what will happen in these kinds of situations is you become the other instead of viewing your neighbor as your neighbor. You're going, oh, they're backing so and so, and it's time for them to go. It's all the juice drinkers' faults. So let's eliminate them. This is why everything is so expensive. Is because these people that watch their pocketbook, watch their spending, made sure to take care of the future instead of just going willy nilly and racking up mountains and mountains and mountains of debt for things that they couldn't afford to pay. The responsible people end up becoming the
Yeah.
others, the ones that are seeing the trouble coming down the road, the ants that are, got the grasshopper, that's, it's the ants and the grasshopper thing, and all of a sudden it's just like, the grasshopper saying, why would you guys take care of me? It's like, well, you just sort of did your whole thing. I mean, these stories we told our children, or we were told as children, have gone away because they're not relevant. I mean, now the grasshopper just says, hey, I just got mountains of debt, and then we'll just make the ants pay for it at the very end. That's the story that they're being told. you know
Yeah.
that you should be helping these people. It's like, no, you should be helping yourself. And a lot of these migrants that are coming across are helping themselves, at the expense of the American people that are more interested in what's happening with the Oscars than are concerned with what's going on at our southern border.
Well, so if you look back at it, we are already being othered. I mean, look,
Hmm.
again, I didn't vote for President Biden, but when he was elected, I hoped that he would be a good president because he was our
Absolutely.
president and he was the pilot of our plane, and I hoped he wouldn't run us into a daggone, mountain. But to hear every time, and I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but to hear every 5 seconds how, if you hold certain beliefs, if you're conservative or conservatarian or whatever the hell I am, you're destroying, you're hateful, you're, akin to, Mr. Austrian failed painter, it gets a little old.
Yeah.
I just want to
Well,
be left the hell alone. That's what I
well,
would
and
like to be.
right, and I see that on both sides also. It's, it is more coming from one side to the other, but I do see it going across the other way. Where
Yeah,
you've got people that are just like, oh, yeah, Trump is horrible, bad man, horrible, and he's not mentally competent, blah 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 blah. And every single talking point that's been made for the past, what, 4 years, three years now, with Biden, they're making about Trump getting ready to run. It's like, wait, you're not making a whole lot of sense. You're talking about somebody that has the mental capacity to get up and do what do you call those, stump speeches, like,
yeah,
throughout this whole for the past 3 years, has had no problem performing whatsoever.
no,
And this is on top of doing that, on top of handling court cases in multiple different things. Got bullshit going on with SG
yeah.
Carol, or whatever the hell her name is. Got all this crap going on. He still has the mental capacity and wherewithal to just continue on and push forward. And Trump, I mean, not Trump, but Biden, I mean, they can't even have him do speeches in the White House. They have to create a sound stage for him to come to, so they get the angles just right. I mean,
T-
how?
To be fair, as someone who might stumble over wires too, I can understand.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But as a person who doesn't sniff other people's children, that's also not a hazard I have.
Well, I mean, it's that aroma of children that helps keep him up in the morning. You know,
Well, new baby smell is cute. Like
it
you're at a
is.
baby shower and you're like, "Oh, you don't have oh." But
You don't smell like sweat and feces yet.
you're like, "Oh, you smell all sweet and cuddly and I get to give you back and here you are."
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Here's your child. Not with him. No, he's almost as. It reminds me of that South Park episode with, what was the
I just
Superman that got crippled? The guy that played Superman.
I just never thought we would elect that creepy neighbor guy from Family Guy.
Oh yeah. Hi, why don't you come over here and mow my lawn, son? It's okay. I've
Take
got
your shirt
some.
off. It's
Take
a
your
little
shirt
hot.
off. It's a little hot out there. Well, you can
Oh,
just
my lightsaber recharged somehow.
look. I dropped a napkin. Can you get over for me there, sweet boys? Yeah. that's what we've got running the show now, and having a son that is pretty much just a cracked out tweaker running
Well,
businesses. It's like, wait, I'm just trying to think in any world where the history of this person, the bullshit that they're doing, where they're just like completely like gone, would ever be in charge of billions of dollars
well,
from
I
doing
I
deals.
clung I clung to the hope that the secret cabal of evil geniuses behind him had a plan, but these past 3 years have proved me wrong. So, now I'm hoping for Mega Asteroid,
Mega asteroid. Well, I mean, you did see the little
the
intro
one.
that for Babylon B, where they gave the 2024 predictions.
Uh,
You saw
I
that.
probably did. Did you happen to see the public, look, as a person that watches more C-SPAN than anyone, but you have to watch the public comments for Fannie Willis. Uh, one woman brings a Nathan's hot dog
Oh,
and
nice.
starts singing. I, look, I don't know what street pharmaceuticals and or shot of liquid courage she took, but oh my, it was a sight to behold. It was cringe-hilarious.
Oh my. Oh, I got it. I've got to see this. I've got to see this.
Yeah, she starts talking about her dog Nate, and she's yeah, it's where you're laughing but also cringing at the
Send it to
same.
me. I'll pull it up.
Let me see if I can find it because I was just in passing.
Well, and you did. They there was the reason I said this. Babylon B had a thing. One of their 2024 predictions had to do with this. So this is pretty funny. Um, Exclusive. Suspected fake Ozempic linked to 3 U.S. cases of hypoglycemia. 3 people sought medical treatment for low blood sugar in the U.S. last year after taking suspected fake version of Novo Nordisk diabetes drug Ozempic. One person all experienced hypoglycemia in 2023 after injecting a compound version of Ozempic, which represents 55 regional potions, blah, blah, blah. Ozempic and similar diabetes medicines have been increasingly used off label for weight loss. Amazing. So one of their predictions was that this company would usher in the zombie apocalypse. That's what I whenever I saw it. I was like, oh my God. How come
Eh,
Babylon B is not supposed to be making good predictions?
it's
And
it's
today's the
sad.
25th. That's what makes it even worse. Today's the 25th because today's the day that 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 Biden is supposed to be deleted by Kamala Harris with a pillow. But don't worry, he'll be back tomorrow, partially alive, according to the
I
predictions.
mean, why use a pillow when the stairs are going to do it for free? I
Oh my
mean,
God!
allegedly. I mean, just
Allegedly,
put some Pam on the stairs.
you don't even have to do that.
Just wait
just
for a
put some
windy
shoe,
day.
just
I
put some
mean, it's
shoes on the guy.
drizzly. It's drizzling fog.
I picture him falling down the stairs and jumping up like Willy Wonka.
To be fair, as a person that falls up the stairs, I can't come.
Ah,
I have to get my hat of hypocrisy out.
oh, I've done it too. That whenever I saw it, I was like, "Yep, I've done that before," and I'm not old. I know the
I
feeling. You just like,
I mean, not.
ah,
Why is it when I find something I can never. I need to start bookmarking these things, but I didn't
I
have
know that
that
feeling.
thought.
My
I
God.
was like, it was on here and I had it and I saw it yesterday and it hurt my soul, so I remembered.
Oh, there you go. Video captures apparent tornado near downtown Fort Lauderdale. Oh, nice. I'll have to check that out. Florida House representatives approved a bill on Wednesday aimed at barring children 16 and younger from social media platforms. That's in Florida. It passed on bipartisan vote of 106 to 13. The measure would require social media platforms to terminate the accounts of anyone under 17 and use third-party verification to screen out the underage. That's I can't say that's a bad thing. I cannot say that's a bad thing. But we'll pull this little video up here. And hopefully it'll play. Yeah, it looks like it might. Weird. Click on it. Stop. Stop. Pause. There we go. I can drag it back. There we go. All right. And just stay sure. Yeah, that'll work. Check this out. That tornado off there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. God bless America. That's insane.
I know. We have had the weirdest weather. And like I say, I know it's blasphemy, and I know I'm probably the only person that thinks this, but I would rather have snow than cold rain. But that's just me.
Um, that's fine. I can pull this up and find it. Where is it? So, oh yeah, it's like right at the very beginning. Oh, this is in Fulton County too. It sounds normal. Most people
Well,
are
I
normal.
mean, apparently public comment time is where I should start going. I just need to become Alex Stein, 99, but
Oh
Mo.
God, please don't.
No,
No,
thank you. I don't have ADHD on 12. Look, I like being weird, but not in public. No, this woman decided to be all the I can't tell if that's a wig or not, but those glasses,
Um,
I'm getting a pair.
yeah, this is Alex Stein kind of stuff. She's got the boa on, the glasses.
I
This
don't know
is
if that's yeah, this did not go as well as she thought it was gonna go. She didn't
probably
practice.
not. Well, that most most people that do this kind of stuff are they because they're new to it and they they mess up really bad because they haven't thought it through. Like Alex Stein has thought the whole scenario through of what's going to happen, and in just in case they cut him off, he's got it planned out what he's going to do. Good to see you, Crime Spies. Glad you could finally make it.
Well, and he fully commits and he that thing where, you care about dignity, he doesn't.
And us,
So
yeah, right.
he fully committed to it. So she kind of stumbles a little bit.
Yes,
She
because she's not. It's not common for her.
I don't know if you can hear it or I'm not hearing it. That is a comically large hot dog, but I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah. That's a sausage of some sort. That's not a hot dog.
the bun to dog ratio is comical, but I don't
Alex Stein must have had a few flops early on. Oh yeah, but
yeah,
those didn't get recorded.
I do like
Hey,
her
here we go.
glasses.
Oh yeah, this is completely staged because she's got everything written down. She's trying to make a name for herself. That's all.
Well, yeah, but she should have really, I mean, again, if you're gonna do this, Alex Stein goes in there, he has it all in his head. He
Right.
doesn't, he, and you go in there, I believe that's a wig because I have several of those with the headbands that you
Hmm.
just wear. Go in, you're playing a fool. You're being the fool. You are, you know, you are there to poke fun at power. So go in playing it to 11. That is what
Yes.
you are there to do. You are not yourself. So you go in and you have fun with it. She is holding back. I don't know. I don't.
Yes.
Can you guys hear it or is it just me not hearing it?
Can you not hear it?
I can't hear it, but I thought maybe it
Oh
was just me.
no, then it's probably me because I could hear it. But let's do this. Share screen. Make sure I get this one. Yeah, this will be better. We'll make this happen. There we go.
I know you'll understand that nothing and nobody comes between me
Now you can hear it.
and my
Yes.
hot dog. Yeah, come on up in here now, my dark and lovely lunch.
Oh, for
Oh,
love of
yeah.
God.
Come on. Yes, my PR firm, all they tell me to do is take me to church. Yeah. Take me to church. I worship you, dog. You're the light of my life. Please forgive me my sins, but I would fall on a knife. You are my destiny, baby. Good God, just get rid of your wife. Take me to church. I go to work. I get my freak on. Take me to church. I write a check.
Oh, that is a
Say
oh
some words.
Lord, she done lost
Take
her
me to
weave.
church. I eat some crow and humble pie. Take me to church. I
My
write a
God.
contract. We're set for life. Take me
Oh,
to
ma'am, your
church.
weave
First
done. Oh
Baptist.
God, Lord,
Here I
you should have
come.
practiced this.
Take me
Oh
to
God.
Yeah.
church. Do we got to see the Catholics too? Are they on the schedule? Do I got to do everything? Take me to church.
15 seconds.
Taxpayer funded, unlimited expense account. Wee, you baby, that's what I like. Take me to church. Even a light skinned elitist like me knows the darker the better.
Oh Lord. Okay, maybe not that in Fulton County.
All right, guys. So what's
Did you see the one man back there like, oh dear God, no, ma'am.
Yeah, that's just like
That
you're
is
not
what we
getting
call
your
a
point
cringe
across.
tumor. You have gotten a
Yes.
cringe tumor. You have cringed so hard that right up top of your pancreas, you have a little nodule of cringe that has formed a hard calcified area.
Well, and it is funny, but she could have done much more had she not broke into her little song and dance. Just
Well, you could have left the light-skinned thing completely out. You could have kept the Catholic thing. You could have
you could have done so much, but yet,
I know. I'm like, "Ma'am, you had 30 sec." She did have a point. So her point was so many people find it absolutely gross that she
yes.
went to a church to proclaim her innocence
Hmm.
and say that this was all because of isms and phobias.
Yeah, doesn't do you any good. I mean, what was the point of? I mean, I don't understand the point of bringing in an extra large hot dog. I mean,
Well, because the guy's name is Nate,
uh huh. Okay,
and apparently she likes the hot dog. She's willing to do anything for the hot dog.
I guess so. I mean,
I-
I don't think
if you
Nathan's
have
hot
to,
dogs is going to be supporting her very much.
but that's the problem. If you have to go that deep to deconstruct it, then you haven't made a really fun joke.
Right.
It should be easy to understand. It should be fairly fun to mock, but you shouldn't have to think about it that hard.
No, no,
And
because I'm just sitting there going, okay. I mean, you brought in a large hot dog. I mean, I'm missing the point. I mean,
I mean,
it's one
I
of
would
those,
have
oh, I
come
guess you
in
had to be there kind of jokes. I'm bad at telling jokes. I mean, I'm probably one of the
I mean,
most unfunny people in the world, but
I would have come in a Pope hat, and I would have been very upset that she hadn't visited the Catholic Church to come. I would have been asking, um, we charge at least 50K for indulgences, and really, as good taxpayers, we would like at least that money to grant you clemency for breaking up a marriage.
yeah,
Ma'am,
yeah,
the Vatican is waiting.
yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I just have no. I can laugh at jokes whenever I hear them, and I'm good at bouncing them off of. But I will tell you that was hers was poor delivery. It was bad, just bad. You know.
But yeah, hey, congrats on her because, like I said, I will do stuff on the internet, but will I go to a public meeting where there are peoples? Probably not.
No, no. I
And they're
mean,
bobby pins, ma'am. You put bobby pins in your wig cap and then your wig won't fall off. There's also hairspray and wig spray that you put on and it will stick.
well, it looked like it had some sort of hairnet to it or something like that that sort of pulled the whole thing up.
Uh, that whole wig
Weird.
was shenanigans. I don't know if she's never done a wig. I don't know what that was. That was a whole mess and a half.
Yeah, yeah. That was.
And
Mm,
I think Nathan's might put a cease and desist on you. You might be
yeah,
blocked from Nathan's from now on.
very big possibility, but I guarantee she's not getting an endorsement from them. And if they do, they'll make sure they give her the extra long dog. That's what she needs.
Okay, I've never been to a Nathan's. Do they have longer buns? I mean,
That wasn't even a Nathan's dog.
oh,
That was a
okay.
sausage or something. Yeah, Nathan
Okay.
doesn't have dogs like that. That
Okay, I was like,
been a while
what in
ago.
I was having a father of the bride moment where I was like, no, no, there are 8 hot dogs, there are 10 buns. I am not paying for buns that I do not need. And he's like, your officerness. No, this is a sham. I'm not paying for hot dog that is not covered by bun. I am just not doing it.
Now
This
you're
is a
hungry and want
scam.
a hot dog. Well, Mass, if you're hungry and want a hot dog, just there's a certain little group in Michigan that loves their hot dogs. They live right some time. It was the Twin Flames founders. There- that guy was on the interview for that. He said, I haven't eaten a hot dog in like 4 years or some crap like that because I just can't because that's what they had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner while they were living with him was hot dogs. He was like, no, no, never, never, never eating another hot dog.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, that's gonna be so horrible. There was a fist fight at your school board meeting that made the news about a year and a half ago. We live by Hazel Park in Hazeltine, where the U.S. Open for golf is. Jeez, I'm not going to Michigan for a hot dog, Shizzy. I don't think the
After
people
what
in
I've
Michigan.
seen about Michigan justice, I'm not going to Michigan either.
No, no, not at all. Is it just? Oof, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And it looks to me like your favorite, well, favorite guy is back in the news because he can campaign without campaigning, and I'm curious as how he's going to. They're like Hebrew ones. You calling those Jewish dogs? No, I understand.
They're
They make
kosher.
kosher. They make kosher. We call them Jew dogs here. Just kidding. Just kidding. Have have a
They
heart.
wear a yarmulke on the top.
Well, it was really funny is if you say like have a heart or a shoulder, butthole, or something like that. That's a hot dog. It's all the little parts that nobody really wants. Sorry, it's bad. had to. All right. So, favorite guy right here, Joe Biden. He's zeroing in on unexpected rematch. Oh, unexpected. I was going to say unexpected. No. 10 months from election day, Biden's write-in victory in New Hampshire race didn't contest, formally contest, put a fork in plausible path to deny him a second turn at the Democratic nomination. Now Biden and his team want to clarify that choice voters will face. And if you watch the New Hampshire primary, Nikki Haley had twice as many votes as Biden did. Just something to keep in mind there,
Yeah, but it was also as many Democrats voting to put Nikki Haley there,
Why would
and
they do that?
because because they've been told by the media if they vote for Nikki Haley, it's the Kasich effect. So right now they're treating her nicely because she is not elected right now, and
Right.
she's part of what the Uniparty wants. I mean, they're going to be nice to her. They're backing her right now. She's
Right.
a lady girl power, semi ethnic, whatever she wants to say she is right now.
Well,
Again,
we have
using all sort of talking
well,
points that she said she wasn't going to at the beginning.
right. Oh, and speaking of semi-ethnic females,
Not next Monday, but the Monday after, gonna go get a facial.
Hello?
Really? Wow.
come on, that was fun. That was fun.
Hi, Mo. Oh, I'm like, what is that echo? But it was just most kids.
That was just most kids. Yeah. Why are you in the next room? You share kids.
Maybe.
Maybe. Probably share the same mind. You guys' show that you did was so much fun.
It was
You need
fun.
to do more. You need to do more of those. Definitely need to do more of those.
I'm sure we will. We're
Yeah.
gonna make Eris come on and MC it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to do hand jobs and do the chat too.
Yes.
Morning, Jude.
Well,
Yes.
I got myself a gift of a really nice big
Hot dog.
crochet, or not,
Oh,
well,
Cross stitch.
that too. But a stainless steel standing embroidery stand that holds
nice.
the thing. So it should be coming from somewhere in the CCP whenever the hell Amazon feels like delivering it. So
That's awesome. I saw a bunch of them. I went to Hobby Lobby the other day and saw a bunch of the cross-stitchy things.
Mhm.
I'll send you the link to the online store that I use. Okay. Do not use the Orbeez until I say you can use them.
Of course. Well, you know, Mass. It is what it is.
What, Eris? That is a clip that I got approval to use. So it's
Oh no, she's talking about me saying do the whole chat.
do the whole chat. Well, somebody has to. I mean, might.
The best line in Aaron Brockovich, which is Mr. Moe's favorite movie for boob reasons, is yes, 873 blowjobs. I'm quite tired. I'm going to be.
Yes. Oh boy, it's amazing that I find it entertaining and amazing that Biden is thinking that he's going to do well against Trump, because he last election he didn't do but what, one, maybe two debates, and got totally just
He knows that it
destroyed.
doesn't matter.
Right, exactly.
Well, how many times are you going to? I know he's already done the scary, Jan 6, threats to our democracy, ads
Mhm.
already, or not even ads, but he's started to, are you going to be on the side of Ulysses S. Grant or, you know, Lee, or are you going to be on the side of, Lincoln or Wallace? Although Lincoln wanted to send everyone back to Africa and was kind of a dick and a tyrant, so, you know,
Mhm.
you are aligning with the person you're most like, sir.
Yes.
But
Yes. Well,
Jude, have
and
you not heard Mo's story about the hand jobs?
oh, you haven't heard that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
okay, so Jude,
That's
for
the best
you.
thing that ever came into my life from YouTube, I think, is
This
that
is
story.
Okay.
special for
So,
you.
Jude, my oldest daughter is 17 and she is starting to get flyers to look at colleges and things like that. And my youngest two sons, one is 9 now and one is 7, and they're like, "You have to go to school after high school? This is ridiculous. I don't want to go to more school." So me and my husband were trying to explain, you could go to trade school, you could work with your hands. And we tried to show them, dirty jobs and welding and, which is essentially playing with fire. So,
Yeah,
it
fire's fun.
stuck. And,
Fire is a
electrician
blast.
stuff and construction. And I am driving them to their private Christian school the next morning and not really paying attention to the backseat conversation. And as I, I'm starting to hear things trickle in, and I'm hearing, yeah, hand jobs are awesome. I don't know why anyone would go to college. I'm going to do so many hand jobs when I grow up. Yeah, college is stupid. Everyone should do hand jobs. We're going to make so much money doing hand jobs. I'm going to tell everyone about hand jobs when I get to school. Yeah, I'm going to tell my teacher we're going to do hand jobs all the time when we grow up. Now, most of my brain is laughing uncontrollably on the floor of my mind, unable to assist, while the other part of my brain is thinking, God dang it, I'm going to get CPS called on me again. So, while driving, I'm like, no, it's work with your hand, not hand jobs. No, you work with your hands and you're not to say jobs. And they're like, no, working with your hands is too long to say. We're going to say hand jobs. And I was like, no, you're not. Or you'll lose your pads forever and ever. But that is where hand jobs was born. So hand workers
Hand jobs
of
rule. I mean, Baker's.
hand workers of the world unite.
Well, all I can say is if you've seen Baker's forums, you realize that he has been doing a lot of hand jobs over the years. Um, and has kept those forearms nice and strong. Mhm.
I was just like, God, I try to do a good job parenting, and then my youngest turns it into hand jobs. Look, this parenting thing is not for the faint of heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whatever, David.
You did a 4-hour stream yesterday just for Farrell. Do you think she appreciated it? Of course she did. Of course she appreciated it. She was talking you all up. So I think she appreciated it more than you know. Only one of the triplets wants to go to a 4-year college. We just found out she's receiving 50% scholarship from St. Thomas. That's awesome. I mean,
Nice.
that's better than nothing. She told me about
Whoa.
She appreciated it. Told me you did it just for her. I'm so jealous. See,
I did talk to Eris about it this morning. So bite me, David.
yes, make her nice up her torso. Can't wait to see the rest.
Look at that. Look at my coffee cup
Woohoo.
today.
Look at that coffee cup. Good Lord.
I know.
I'm
I
so
need
nice
to
to
get
him.
working
He's
on
jackass.
Well, and,
merch and such.
I'm so appreciative of Dave getting those videos up because I'm going to be watching both the both the interview with Zach Anderson and the interview with Sadie. And I definitely want to pull those both up and watch them in full and critique a little bit. And
Oh, good. I'll
I
have
think
somewhere
we're
to
doing
watch it.
that. No, it was really good. Good job, David. It was um, getting that out there. I know took a lot of effort, especially getting the edits and everything. That was really good. Really good stuff. So if you haven't seen it, go over to Dave's channel. If you want the commentary and you have questions, he'll probably be able to answer those if you watch his video of that, which will be, you know, up there. If you want it without comments, he does have the video there. So if you're just wanting to see the whole thing from beginning to end, he does edit out a lot of names and places and does a lot of the editing to sort of protect the underage child, and those kind of things. So that's what took him so much time on it. But definitely go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It is a good watch, and Dave does a really good job of explaining things and sort of keeping the chat in line, which is amazing. Hard to do, but he manages to do it really well. David doing what he does best.
Soda Law Show.
It's
I like the
awesome.
Mexican Law Show.
I like that one too. Well, and I keep forgetting to thank David for showing me that twin flame stuff, because
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's been just insane. David was the one that mentioned that. He goes, you're doing these cult things. If you ever heard about this little group, and I was like, holy cow, this is insane. Dave's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening in the Midwest. Good Lord. Hmm. Yes, that mother is absolutely horrible. I agree with you, David. I've you know, I don't get triggered, but that seeing the way that she was acting reminded me a lot of a certain mother that I haven't talked to over 4 decades, almost 4 decades. Yeah, just like bad.
It
Of
will
course,
never
she's
cease to amaze
horrible.
me.
She got her ex locked up for murder so that she wouldn't have to share custody with him.
Hmm.
She
I
ruined her
couldn't
children's lives.
Well, and
I
something I
couldn't
was
with that trial. I
there's
Right.
yeah.
There were so many things with that trial that I couldn't with, but that woman, first of all, the name, but second of all, look, I haven't seen all the trial, but Sadie acting like the wounded widow.
Yes.
Look, I have been there. I have been a widow.
Mhm.
And don't you dare sit in court with your sunglasses up like, first of all, who the f does that in a courtroom with sunglasses up here like you're some sort of, I don't know, El Chapo's wife?
Yeah.
You dated the dude for what, 3 weeks, 4 months? What?
Well,
He was
she
seeing
was
other chicks on the side. I mean, you weren't married to the dude. Give it a rest. Look, I understand, but it was so deeply gross to me, I could not watch that trial. And I'm sorry that I wanted to cover it, but it was so disgusting to me, her behavior, because as someone who had lost a husband, it was so performative, it was such an act, it was so
Yeah.
gross to where what other people who have lost someone has been through. It just
right.
I I wanted to reach out and faith heal her with a forceful tap to the head.
Yes. And I think what's most disturbing about all of it is that it doesn't look like they looked at anything that she was doing at all.
No, they
And
didn't.
I have, I want to go and actually review the video because there's something I wanted to see. Um, if I can pick it out, I'll bring it up to David, but I will
They
see if
didn't
it's what I
they
think.
didn't look into the text message that said it's done, it'll be in a week and you won't know when or where. That text message from Becky
Yeah.
to Sadie, they didn't look into it until Nicole brought it up during her opening statement. That was
Right.
the first time they even asked her about it. Are you effing kidding me?
Well, and that's why whenever and I did catch a good portion of it, and whenever I heard her saying a couple of things back and forth while as she was texting because she was questioning something that she was like, to herself, it's like, who in the hell is she talking to? David sort of pointed it out, and that's what drew my attention to it. That she was texting somebody and she was saying something, and she kept saying, "Oh, I can't make any phone calls because I'm not getting a good connection." But she's still texting, which if and somebody else pointed this out was she could be using Facebook Messenger, she could be using the different messaging apps. She didn't necessarily have to be using her phone. And so as things would come in on her Facebook app and she would get that little bit of service, she was sending messages back and forth. And her reactions didn't quite match up with anything. Like one minute she would be in absolute, these hysterical tears where inconsolable, and the next second she would be giving like these like very poignant facts. And when it came to all of the stuff that Zach did, she was very descriptive. She's very descriptive about the room, after just glancing at it. But then on other parts, when it came to interactions that she was having to pull up her phone because it was like it was all scripted out, and she's describing all of these things off of her phone. Yet she has vivid everything that happened in this one room just from a glance. She's noticing that the door is open. Oh, you just cut off a little bit. Say it again.
Oh, did you listen to her interview last night, Mo?
No, like I said, she
She
disgusts me on a visceral level, so I have
Yeah, so
left her
she
well enough
she
alone.
claims when she gets there, she looks in through the slider, like she didn't go in, she just looked in there, right? And sees all the blood and then goes and calls 9. Actually, she called Becky, and Becky told her to call 911. But when she's like describing the apartment to the cops, she's like, I could not describe to you my own living room that I am sitting in right now, as well as she was describing the state of his apartment, where things were in there, and like this was missing. Or you have that much memory from looking in. Like if I look in somewhere and see blood
So
and I'm
she
booking
has
it out
an
of there, I'm not going to notice
eidetic
where the
memory.
coffee table.
Does she have an eidetic memory of everything else? Here's the thing. So again, the cops zeroed in on him because of her testimony.
Yes.
Now, if I guess I will have to look at the interview because if emotional recall is something that when you are being truthful, you do tend to attach emotions to things. But when you are able to then quickly turn it off to go to a factual recall, that is not normal. And I'll have to look at her body language, but it
Yeah.
might be a
All right,
drunken
Dr.
review.
J. Oh my
It's
gosh,
going
you
to be
should
a
do
drunken
that.
review. It's going to be full wig on. Look, and I will be taking the ever living piss out of this woman. Look, I will have my full petty patch on.
But
And
I I wanted to bring something up. I did send you a message, David, and you, because you have the raw footage, you may be able to find this quicker than I am. But just check your DM there, and
Also, she
just give it a
noticed what
look.
we noticed at like looking at the trial or at the crime scene photos. She noticed that the diffuser was running in Rosalio's apartment. And she even made the comment, I don't know how long those run for. Because it was like 41 hours it would have had to run for the timeline that the state introduced to work.
Well, Mo, if
This
you're up for it, and you're available Friday, I can go through the whole thing, the whole video, and you're
okay,
welcome to come in and
alrighty.
we can just review the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll be free after Newsy News. I have to
No,
do a
no, that works great.
tipsy review of Barbie today.
That's gonna be awesome.
There will be all the cursey words. I can't
I'm
with that movie.
sure there'll be. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll set up something for Friday day. What
Sounds good.
you just send me the time that's a good start time, and
Okay.
I'll get it set up.
It, yeah, like I said, I mean, I will I will be very clear from the get-go. I generally try to approach cases without bias, but in this case, she aggravates the ever-living snot out of me. So I will have no chill with her.
Right, Julian Young?
Yes,
Like, or
view of
I guess
Barbie
Francois,
today.
sorry.
This is
What
so. Did she have to psych herself up because she knew what she was going to see? Yes, that's
I mean,
what I'm curious about.
was she
well, I don't
aware that
know.
he was seeing other people?
Who
I
knows?
well, here's a and I could be completely wrong on it. Here's a possibility. Maybe she showed up and found that he was with somebody, and that person may be a little bit scared to come forward because of her connections with a little bit of the dark underbelly
Well, that's what
of that
Nettie's
area.
the Facebook girl, her stuff never made any sense. I'm sorry. In the history of ever, no woman has ever driven over an hour to go meet up with a guy and he ghosts you and you say, I'm worried about you. Are you okay? Nobody, they don't, that never happens.
Oh,
It's going to
hell no.
be
We
F you,
say
mother
F
effer, blah,
you
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You're not going to be
pretty much.
saying she saw
Beryl and I
something
both
or,
at the same time.
yeah, like,
But
F you. Screw you.
if you have access to their phone, you can sort of type those things in and then toss it in the freezer because what else are you going to do with it? You can't
no, it was
really
on her
read
phone
comments.
though too. It was on her phone. It was the
Well,
Facebook girl. But I'm
you
like, what I'm saying
still
is, you're not going to
understand,
say these. I'm worried. I think she either saw something or she was there for something
right? Right.
because she never said, "Oh, I'm running 45 minutes behind." Like her text messages, and she was taking screenshots of her text messages before anyone ever knew he was missing.
Right. Who does that?
Nobody.
I don't take screenshots of messages until somebody is like, hey, I was curious about X. I'm like, damn, who did I message that
Okay,
about? And then I go back and
some people
look.
with the Google, some women with the Google Kung Fu do take screenshots of everything. But
Thuman's dogs. Yeah, the Nathan's dogs. Do I like those thicker ones? Well, what can I say? I do like me some hot dogs.
none of this whole case, none of it makes sense. And the fact that they
No,
even brought it to trial is alarming. It's alarming that we are more trials and more trials are coming up on feelings and not facts. You have the Michael Turney case in Arizona,
the
and
Cara
the
Realty, I mean, all of
yeah,
them that you've been
a-
seeing.
and we are getting to the point where all the jury, all that needs to happen is a podcast needs to go on. You have someone bringing up maybe half truths, things that aren't admissible in court, and
Let's put it this way.
prosecutors.
I find Murdaugh more believable than I found Sadie. Dave finally got my message. Yeah, Dave. I want Dave to look at that because something doesn't sit right whenever I'm hearing AO in the room with Sadie.
Oh
Like
wait,
something's not right. AO, so OA, AO, whatever. I just
the
it,
minor daughter.
the minor daughter. There's a lot of things that don't sit right the way that the daughter is acting, where Sadie is like hysterical in tears, and the daughter is like not even giving two shits about anything. Like it doesn't really matter, which it really doesn't, because dude's missing. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, and if
You know
she
what I
Well,
wasn't
mean?
unless you're
introduced to this guy, if he's nothing to her, then she's not going to have emotions. And if Sadie acts like this when she breaks a nail, I, I mean,
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
if Sadie is prone to being hysterical about everything, and given what she seems to be like generally, given you guys' insight and how I feel like she acts anyways, when you are with a generally hysterical parent who acts like this, kids tend to become parentified. They tend to become the kind of stabilizing, sort of adultish figure in that dynamic. So she would be the more stable one. She would be the more kind of stoic, calm one versus this one
if
because she's,
if if the mother is like
True,
that
David.
all the time, like if the mother is like that all the time, that will happen. But if it's if it's a true emotion, hold on just a second.
I
if,
never
if
I
it's a true
never thought
emotion, let me say this real quick. If it's
yeah.
a true emotion, kids will tend to cry with their parents, and they won't even know why they're crying. If you've ever seen like a
oh
mother
yeah,
that's really emotional, and the child isn't used to seeing their mother in that kind of emotion, they start crying also, because
yeah.
they're in fear. Whereas uh, OA doesn't
Oh,
AO
it's
doesn't
mom
have.
again.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh, I'm used to this kind of crap.
Yep. I never thought that Sadie was involved until I watched that interview last night
Yes.
and her recall of the things in the apartment and things like that. Like now I can see where it's entirely possible that it was. I've always been team Michael Campbell was way shady and way guilty looking, but I don't know. After watching that, I'm like, I can see it now that she might have more to do with this than I originally thought.
Well, and it's a possibility that she's involved and knows that some.
Oh,
Our,
do
oh, we lost
we
Shizzy.
lost us to
He's whizzing.
Shizzy. Shizzy whizzed out on us.
He whizzed on the internet line. That's what happened.
Just lost power. I just lost
Oh,
power for a second. Are you guys still
oh,
there?
there you are.
We'll see what happens on there.
I'm sorry, Fry was humping the line this time. It was not the pillow that he was.
Yeah, I may lose power, guys. If I lose power, I'll end the stream. But you know, right now it's probably just people colliding into telephone poles, because
Oh
it
no.
is a went Thursday. It's raining outside, and I'm in Georgia, so
You mean
get the
four-wheel
It's
hardcore.
drive
raining here
doesn't mean you
too.
can speed really, really fast in the rain?
Um, it's not about speeding. It really isn't. It's about whenever it rains, people act like complete maniacs, and they run other people off the road and don't pay any attention where they're going. They also have this habit of turning on their hazards. I don't understand this. When it's raining, people you don't turn on your hazards and drive down the middle of the interstate. That's the most
Uh,
stupid, ridiculous thing that you can possibly do. Don't
what?
do that, because we cannot see when you turn on your goddamn turn signals. Sorry, I'm a little
Yeah, no,
emotional
that
over this.
doesn't, um, I,
You put your hazards on whenever you're in an emergency situation, and you pull your shit off to the
yes,
side of the road. And
this
in
does make
between
sense.
moving over lanes, use your damn turn signal so people are aware that you're moving over. So use your turn signal, move yourself over, then turn your hazards on whenever you're clear to get into a little
Right.
side area. So this driving down the middle of the interstate, 65 miles an hour with your hazards on is not safe. And
That's
Well,
what I
unless
I will
you're
check.
stating
I
you
will.
are the hazard and we must
Yes,
avoid you.
exactly. And I will check out the article. I'm not going to be able to check it today, or right now, because I've got I've got a little bit of a limited time on how much more I can go, and I don't know how much power I have left. So, yeah, where's the fun in that? It's just, oh well, that's how it goes. And it must be annoying driving behind three idiots with all having hazards on. No, it's worse than that. I mean, it really is, because you'll have some of them doing 45, some of them doing 65, some of them doing 95, and they're not necessarily in the fast or slow lanes. They're just spread out like a bunch of what would be the best description? It's like watching mongoloids play football. That would be the best description.
You mean it's like when you go to Sam's Club on Sunday when they have the free samples and everyone's confused and just clumped around and they've never been
Manners.
into a store before?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how is she going to feed your kids?
They never have booze on the free sample, and I find that offensive.
That
it
is
is.
offensive. I think they do that in Florida. I think they have free booze for that. I'm
Moving to
kidding. I'm
Florida.
kidding. I'm
Right?
kidding. I'm kidding. Everyone's like, "What? Florida has free booze sample?"
I'm like,
Uh,
America's freedom dong is looking more awesome by the minute.
well, and I can understand this right here, too. But you turn your hazards on and off to warn drivers behind us. There's also a thing called brake lights that help. That's usually if traffic slows in front of you, you hit your brakes.
Okay,
It's an amazing.
here, I have an idea, and hear me out, but I have always been lobbying for different sort of horns. Like,
Oh yeah, I like that.
boop boop. Like, hey,
Oh,
you're being kind of a dick, but I'll let you
Uh-oh.
pass. Or a like wake up, you need to move. Or like a hey, there's a cop ahead. Doo-doo-doo. Like, just a little like warning. Or like, a little sign in the back with a little middle finger, like you're being a dick. I'm just saying we need different horns. Like, hey, just want to warn you something, or, your fly's open. I'm just saying if we had a little like, hey yo, just little like, hey, your flashers are on. Did you mean to continue to be turning left
no
for
for
55
president.
miles?
Well, my favorite ones are the ones that have a turn signal on for hundreds of miles.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we could just like call the license plate and then it would automatically call their car, like hands-free mode. Hey, look, I'm behind you and I don't know if you were meant to be turning left for 150 miles, but I was just asking for a friend.
Yeah. And Florida can be really horrible too, because there's this habit. My wife, I've noticed, does this also, where you're coming up on a 18 wheeler. So 18 wheelers driving along and they're doing about 70 miles an hour, somewhere around in there. Okay. And you'll come up behind them and you'll go around them. And as you go around them, you just sort of accelerate a little bit and you go past them and you get over. No, not in Florida. Not in Florida. That's not how they operate in Florida. What they do is they get next to the 18 wheeler and they do this number for miles on miles. And it's like you can look in your rearview mirror and see all this traffic backing up. It's like all you have to do is just accelerate just like a little bit and you can get around the 18 wheeler, and all these people that are doing 75, 80 miles an hour, they can go around you and they can keep going. And it's the most insane crap I've ever seen. Like, and then usually it precursors to this. You're you're driving along and you're in the slow lane where you should be. Someone's coming up behind you to on your side. So here you are. They come up like this, and then they get up to the 18 wheeler, and everybody's on their bumper, and they start doing this number. You can't get over, and you're slowing down. You're slowing down. You're like, oh Jesus Christ! I just want to get over so I can go around.
Okay, nope. All right, we need a separate look. When you guys vote me in as your president and or empress of the world, whichever you guys choose to write. There will be a separate highway for 18-wheelers so they don't have to deal with idiot jackass drivers like us. And teenagers will not be able to use the freeway. Look, you're just learning how to drive. We don't trust you. And you're kind of dumb. I love you all. I have teenagers, but you're kind of dumb.
Well, I think they should have
And
higher standards for passing the driving test. I mean, sure, get an ID, but I mean, if you go to England, you have a serious time getting a driver's license. I mean, it's not like you just walk into the DMV and say, "I have a pulse, I can breathe, and I can tell you what a stop sign is," but that's about it. I don't know what it means. I can tell you what it is. It's a stop sign, but you know, but there's much higher standards in England for getting, or the UK, to get a driver's license. Yeah, all of Western Europe has higher standards. You have to, because they don't. A lot of places they don't put guardrails up. You know? It's just like I've seen some stuff. I'm like, holy cow, that's insane. I mean, to learn how to actually use a roundabout, it's amazing.
Oh, I hate those effers. I hate them.
I they are so efficient. I just hate the people that get stuck in them because they don't know what to do. It's like,
Well, I didn't even see one until I was in my 30s. So I thought I was gonna die the first time. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do.
well, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory. You pull up there, and it's almost like a yield. And most roundabouts, say for example, you pull into you're coming up, and you're going to be making like a right turn, except
Yeah.
you're going to be
I mean, I
making it.
get the concept now, but it was the first time
Well,
I've ever seen one in my entire life. I didn't never even heard of it before.
yeah, it just keeps traffic flowing, so you don't have one of those ridiculous stop signs that somebody blows through. You're just constantly blowing through the stop sign. Makes it
Hmm.
so much easier. I'm like, why don't they have more of these? Takes up just as much space. And then there's places like that have roundabouts where you're like, why do they even have a roundabout here? It's like it literally is one little circle that's about the size of a manhole cover, and they call it a roundabout. It's like, why? I mean, makes no sense. It makes no sense. Here, Poppy did it out. No, when you
I
let a
do when that
sunlight cut
happens.
over, they blink their lights and say thanks. Well, a lot of times, yeah. And there's also something that you can do that truck drivers tend to enjoy. If you're going to let them over because they've got their signal on, all you have to do is flash your brights at them. Just give a couple
Yeah.
flashes to let them know that you're letting them in, because they're looking to see where you're at in their side view. And there's a certain amount they can judge distance, but if you give them that little blink, knowing that you'll let them over, they'll usually blink their lights back at you as thanks, and they'll try to let you by as soon as they can without breaking the law. If there are 3 lanes in a roundabout, fire your traffic engineer. If there are traffic signals in your roundabout, fire your traffic engineer. Absolutely.
I used to hate roundabouts, but now I love them because it is clear that no one knows how to work a four-way stop. So I
Well, well, yeah, that is true. That is true. I used to deliver pizzas, and I used the 4-way stop as a yield sign, because I'd be doing like 90 miles an hour through residential areas, and just I would look, and if no traffic was coming in, I'd just keep on going.
That's
I
why
had
all the
one.
pizzas were upside down.
No, no,
hey,
no. That only happened maybe 10 or 15 times. One of them was because I put my car into a telephone pole. But
oh
that's
no.
different.
Yeah,
Well,
yes.
and the thing is, anytime I've wrecked my car, I've been doing the speed limit. But all the times that I would just, they told me whenever I was delivering pizzas to stop putting the sign up on the car because they hated getting the calls. They told me don't put a sign on your car,
We don't
because
want to be
no joke.
associated with you.
Oh no, it was insane. Or because I could go from where I worked at, I could go from one part of the delivery area to the other part in about 15 minutes. Yeah.
As a
Those
directionally
people would take
challenged person, that
45
is a
minutes to an
skill
hour.
I envy. I I've lived here for nearly 4 years, and people come to they'll be in my neighborhood, and they're like, "How do you get here?" And I'm like, "Oh, sweetie, you asked the wrong person."
Google Maps.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Well, how long have you lived here?" I was like, "Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am just terrible bad with directions. I would look at your phone. Do not trust me.
Yeah.
I'm liable to end you up in Kentucky, okay?
Well,
I
and
will
there's
be the
certain
leader
people.
of your Donner Party, all right?"
You are probably one of those certain people that whenever you're giving directions, you go, "There's this beautiful bush over on the right, and you want to turn left there." And then you go, I don't know, until you get to like the red house with like the green trim, and then you turn right. And that's the directions. I
Oh, no,
hate
I
those
have to do one
directions.
of these things, and I'm like, "Okay, so you're gonna wanna turn toward the driver's side at the old Kroger, and then you're gonna turn toward the passenger
Yes.
side." And I was like, "But if you're facing toward the Kroger, then you're gonna turn toward the which way are you coming from again?" Because directions are so hard for me. Because
Yes,
I'm
you are
I'm
one
like,
that I do not ask directions from whenever all it takes
"No,
is like the first two seconds of you giving me directions. I'll go, that's fine. I got it. I'll figure it out. Just give me the
no, no."
address.
When I have to pull out these, this is when you know that I should not be asked. When I have to pull out, "Okay, this is my left, and this is my not left," that should be your first sign that, I am not the one to ask.
Ah, yes,
I'm
this is my left because there's an L. This is not left because that's not an L.
this is the one that I thought was my left until they tested me for dyslexia. Okay, this makes sense.
Go to the DD down the road, bang a right at the Wendy's, bang a left, right after
Pretty
that.
much.
See the dollar store. Oh yeah, it is
Yeah.
exactly. That is exactly so right.
I was
And
like,
if you
"How about I
go over the
hop in the car
railroad
with
tracks, you
you?"
went too far.
Yes.
I was like, "Look, go find someone else walking their dog. I'm sure you will find someone else that will look, like I said, you don't want me to be the leader in your Donner Party. I died every time on Oregon Trail, all right? It's not gonna work for you."
Well, somebody didn't go hungry. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's just
How's that joke
look, never
go? Donner party of five, Donner party of four, Donner party of three, Donner party.
My sister so I told that to my sister one day when my mom was in the car. My sister is about 21 because she was asking me for directions, and I said, "Look, I will be the leader of your Donner Party. Do not ask me." And she's like, "What's the Donner Party?" And my mom was like, "That's a dark joke." And she had to explain it. And I was like, "Well, it's not funny when you explain it." And my sister's like, "Wow, that was dark." And I was like, "I know, that's why it's hilarious."
I know.
I was like, "It's not like I said we're gonna do an alive." I was like, "We're
No,
not in a plane."
exactly. I mean, we haven't ripped a door off a plane in a week at least, so I think we're good. Although they have released Boeing from a lot of that crap, it started saying they're fine to fly around some more. Isn't that
And then a
wonderful?
wheel fell off.
Yeah, front wheel fell off. That was beautiful. I was like, oh, wonderful. At least it didn't fly off as they were getting ready to take off. That could have, ended up in a nosedive. So yeah, it looks like there's not a whole lot of. Oh Jesus Christ! Trump could testify as trial set to resume with Jeannie Carroll or whatever the hell her name is. E. Jean
Okay.
Carroll accused him of SA, and
th-
she's her feelings are hurt, and so now she wants to sue some more.
he already got so the the founding fathers put the most constraints on the judicial branch because they were aware of how a rogue judiciary could hamper, everyday life for citizens much more than, a monarchy. We have a rogue judiciary now. I mean, you have judges that are doing summary judgments, basically in collusion with prosecutions. We have judges that basically this E. Jean Carroll case had no substantive
Evidence.
facts with it, that the Senate passed a law just almost specifically for this case to go through.
Yes.
It's And then they didn't have the facts for it, but they got him on defamation, which is so terribly difficult to prove for a public person, to the point that, the little Covington kid couldn't get a defamation,
Yeah.
case with, all of these places and all of these things.
But
So,
it's different rules for
but
he than for me.
and people wonder, and then the same mainstream media will wonder why no one trusts them. It's like, no idea. We'll get the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. Have you heard yourself lately? Maybe. I mean, you know, here's the
Well,
thing.
and then
Everyone
didn't
talks about
E.G. Carroll
mainstream
go
media.
on?
These are not mainstream media. Mainstream media doesn't exist like it used to. Mainstream media brings brings some of the information to you, but it is your big news channels. They bring you some of the information because they have people on the ground that can sort of get the information. If But they interject too much of their opinion into it. If you want opinion, come here in the mornings or go over and check out Moe's or anybody else. That is your mainstream media. That should be you sitting there like pulling that thing point and getting it all warmed up because we are going to interject our opinions on it. And our opinions are probably just about as valid as, some talking head from CNN. And guess what? We don't get paid to lie to you. That's the difference between us.
I'll do it
We're
for
not
free all day long.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, it's just our opinion. And some people
yeah.
see the same thing, and other people say, "Yeah, I don't buy your bullshit," which is usually what happens with me.
Well, and the thing is we're not personally offended if you don't agree with us. I
Exactly.
personally want you to use your own mind and come up with your own opinion. I don't want you to take my word for gospel. I don't want you to take anyone's word for gospel. Go find out for yourself.
Well, and you
Morning,
heard this.
Fred.
Jon Stewart is returning to The Daily Show as executive producer and will host every Monday starting February 12th through the 2024 election cycle. Go figure. Because this guy right here, he was freaking horrible. Still is. Well, and see, Jon Stewart, he did okay on The Daily Show. I still like Craig Kilborn whenever he was doing it
Yeah.
because his was hilarious. And Jon Stewart, he had some funny moments, but it was still just it wasn't as good.
Is this because Jon Stewart's
Uh,
solo career where he attacks, the pale among us, and tells us how we're terrible and everything else? Look, much respect for him for the advocacy he does for the 9/11, cleanup and people that have been affected by the fallout of that. So much respect for him about that. But he has turned into a walking parody of white guilt.
yeah,
It's just ridiculous. And so my guess is that is burning to the ground. And he's like, "Can I please get some more money?" And I'm irrelevant. And Comedy Central is like, Charlemagne the God and Trevor Noah suck. Can you come back?
yeah,
Now they
yeah.
won't call me because, well, they just don't know me yet. I've sent in my application, but they must have lost it.
Yeah, this is very true. E.G. and Carol and her hubs were a photo line for Trump years ago, and that's the extent of their interaction. Yeah, plus she is a complete whack job. If you
Yeah,
haven't
she went
seen
on
the video
to
she did with Elle, it was it was her in her backyard, and she's painted all the rocks blue to show that there used to be water flowing through it. And then she was like, "Well, why did I just stop there?" And she started painting the trees too. And she's
perfectly
just
normal, as one does.
she is a complete whack job, and
How
the
much
media
acid did
is
she drop?
well, of course, she's wearing one of her stupid wigs or whatever the hell, which is fine
Hey,
if you wear
no wig
wigs.
hate.
That's no, no, I'm not hating on the wigs. I'm just hating on that it's like it's just a shtick, and to
It
take her
is.
and for her to take it seriously is even wackier. It's like because she gives like horrible like dating advice or some crap like that. I do want to get a little bit serious here, and I'm not joking about this. So this is something I want people to sort of pay a little bit of attention to because this can get really scary really fast. I pulled this up earlier, and I was a little bit concerned with this because whenever I see something like this, it does tend to give me pause. Here, let me pull this up. Whenever you see something like this come across, exclusive Biden urges U.S. Congress to approve F 16 sale to Turkey without delay. This should be giving you a little bit of pause and a little bit of worry whenever you see things like this come up, because it means there's things that are coming that you don't see. There's plans that are in play that you don't see. It's no, it, and I wouldn't be surprised if this if this story gets buried really quick.
There are there are very big fears among those of us who are plugged in that the current resident in chief is looking at all the numbers and realizes that a a wartime president tends to be fairly popular and people do not want to jump ship in the middle of conflict.
Right.
Um, the problem with that is that we are at historically low recruitment levels. Mr. Mo works at putting civilians in open spots where there aren't military members to go in certain spots, and
Yes. And this should be worrying right here,
this is
especially whenever it's coming across and saying the U.S. State Department also urged Ankara on Wednesday to formally finalize Sweden's NATO ratification. To do that, Erdogan needs to sign the legislation, which then could be published in Turkey's official gazette. The instrument of accession for Sweden also needs to be sent to Washington. This should have you shaking in your boots. And the fact that there's very little information about this, but they're showing this kind of thing, knows there's,
I,
and it usually happens preceding some kind of thing that is you really don't want to deal with, and just
this
keep an
is
eye on it. it's
this is a red
it's
line. Uh, Look, we have an administration right now that has proven in 3 years that they do not understand international politics.
no.
Russia has point blank said, "Do not expand NATO. No more." Regardless of how you feel about the Ukraine situation, when a country says that, when we are seen as politically weak, when we are divided between 3, potentially 4 fronts, you've got Venezuela threatening to invade Guyana for their oil-rich coastal regions. You have China threatening Taiwan. You've got the Ukraine situation, and now you have this, you have the Suez Canal. I mean, we are so divided. We cannot do all of this. I know that you have Janet Yellen, our Treasury Secretary, saying that we can cover all of this with just, money printer go burr. We are dangerously low on our ammunition storage because we have given it all to Ukraine. And it has been sold on black markets to everywhere.
Yes.
We are still in Afghanistan for some mother effing reason.
Hmm.
We are
Because we're sending money there. There's got to be a conduit to get money to the people that you want fighting for you and against you. There's
listen.
very big
So,
incentives. There's a reason why the U.S. prints billions of dollars a day. I mean, there's a reason they just keep churning that
No
money maker
math.
out.
We're still there.
And it's so these countries can turn around and purchase the weapons using the money
so
that we send to
from
them.
from
That's
the
the
bottom of my heart to you, Mr. Resident in Chief, and all of you F-tards in Senate, as a family member, wife, sister, daughter of service members, your kids, your family, your husbands, your wives first this time.
Mhm.
How about that? How about we are no longer going to send our families first? I noticed that the commercials have changed to hoorah white patriots again,
Oh
not,
yeah,
Amber with two mommies.
yeah. I would love to show those commercials and just use those as the recruiting commercials because how well did that work? And the whole
So,
time you're watching the Russian commercials come out where dudes are like being thrown in ice baths and like diving out and like chopping, small little creatures to bits as they blow up, these massive buildings and, have guys wrestling tanks to the ground. That was Russia's response to the America having Amber has two mommies and look at how wonderful
yeah.
everything
And
is.
one of the
It's
moms looked
all
like Hank Hill
yeah,
in drag.
yeah. And it's like nobody cares. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I
want to
don't
see
care
somebody
if your
that
mom's a lesbian. I don't.
don't
Have fun. I love great for your mom.
wonderful, but how does that make you a better fighting unit? Just saying that, okay, so you did something, you got your GI Bill, wonderful. But how does that make you a cognizant fighting unit to actually defend the Constitution? How does
We
it
lost a
work
Navy SEAL
defending?
having to deal with pirates. We just lost a Navy SEAL in the Suez Canal having to deal with pirates. And as a daughter of a former SEAL, I am so tired of service members being used as pawns.
Yes.
I'm so tired of it. I am so tired of every single stupid, again, your kids first. People are
Yes.
wondering why recruitment is down.
Huh.
This is why. We are done. We are so
Yes.
done.
We're telling
I
we're
can't believe
telling
we would wonder.
we're telling our future generations don't do this. We're saying this is not your fight. This is a fight that our government is creating to put you into play. They are using you as a pawn. It's not like you're going to help another country. You're going to destroy another country. There's a big difference. It's not about doing something uh, helpful. It's there to destroy.
Well, after the withdrawal of Afghanistan, I mean, I have,
And
I
I'm
have
I'm
friends
I'm
who fought there. I have friends who fought there after what happened at the gate, after
yes.
President Biden being able to remember, George Floyd and, all of these other events, which were important mass shooting events, but never ever honoring those 13 service members that got unalived because, he refused to approve, or his military refused to approve a sniper shot that would have prevented all of that.
Yep.
I have never been more ticked off in my entire life. And I just
Yeah. I know.
look, I look, you guys, I know I don't generally get this worked up, but ugh, like,
Yeah.
mm,
It's
mhm.
I'm I served in the military. Luckily, I never had to serve in any combat roles, but my nephew did. He was in Afghanistan for a while, and you know, luckily where he was at, there was very little fighting. He still had to fight, but it was not on the level of others that were in the front lines, um, doing it day in day out. I've got family members that fought in Vietnam. I have family members, well, that are no longer with us, that fought in World War II. Much respect for the military and their sacrifices. Luckily, I didn't have to make that sacrifice. I mean, I was in the military. That's about as far as it goes. I was, like I said, in any combat role. Um,
Well,
and it's
and we
it's hard it's hard for me to wrap my head around a government that would send their people into a conflict that they created because they weren't willing to find another route. Like, war is the last thing that you want to do. Sometimes you do have to wield that stick, and this is one of those reasons. I'm not finding any reason to do this, and it's disturbing that people think it's okay to go in and basically become the police of the world. That's not what our military is for.
no, and we pay lip service to, veteran mental health and things like that, but the morale lost after that, after Afghanistan and that withdrawal, I mean, it was heartbreaking to see a lot of people that had spent time over there thought that they had accomplished at least something. I mean, at least something. They'd lost friends. They, came back. And then you see those hearings and you hear the gentleman that was wounded and just the general effery that went on. And
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking. And there's been almost no attention to it. I mean, we've heard more about, and look, it's an important thing to some degree, but we have heard more about Mr. George Floyd than we've
Oh
heard
yeah.
about these service members. And it's,
Yes, exactly. That's the heartbreaking portion of all that. And like you said, this is an election year. We've got people that are wanting to put us into another war. They've been wanting that for quite some time. Nikki Haley is no better than that.
oh no,
And I
yeah.
don't see how she would do anything good. And I mean, I'm not writing her off as being a contender in this, because you still have more primary elections that are happening. She's going to be primaried in Arizona, which I don't think she's going to get. And then after that, she's got what is it, South Carolina, her home state, and they're hoping that she gets a big boost there. Which if she does as well as she did in New Hampshire, then it's pretty much over after South Carolina.
Yes and no, unless the Republicans try to pull a brokered convention. I mean, at at this point, I think anyone who is aligned, anyone who has donated to the RNC really needs to start asking, where are my donations going? Why is Nikki Haley still getting money to basically run, you know, I'm not writing her off, but she spent 70 million in New Hampshire. You know, I think the RNC needs to be held accountable. This is why I'm not affiliated with any political party,
Mhm.
because it seems like there's no accountability. I mean, why is Rhonda McDaniels, she's been head of a losing party, but she still seems to get accolades because boobs. I mean, hello, I am here and I do have boobs.
Yeah.
But, you know, it
Mhm.
there is no accountability. Anyone who's donating to the RNC should be able to ask questions and figure out where this money is going and why certain candidates are being snubbed just because of, we should be able to dictate where some of these things are coming or where some of this money is going if
Yeah.
this is truly, how things are going. The RNC has been cleaning up. Where is all this money going? And they've been trading on Trump's name for a long time, even though they tend to hate him. They're like, he is evil, but can you give us the monies?
Right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I've got one more story that I got to share, and this is mainly for Tootly Pip, because we love our foreigners here. This is specifically for Tootly Pip here. A U.S. scientist has brewed up a storm by offering Britain advice on making tea. An American scientist has sparked a transatlantic tempest of teapot by offering Britain advice on its favorite hot beverage. Bryn Mawr College chemistry professor Michelle Frankel says one of the keys to a perfect cup of tea is a pinch of salt. This tip is included in Frankel's book Steeped: The Chemistry of Tea. Not since the Boston Tea Party has mixing tea with salt water oiled the Anglo-American relationship so much. The suggestion drew howls of outrage from tea lovers in Britain, where popular stereotype sees Americans as coffee-swilling boors who make tea, if at all, in the microwave. Don't even say the
What
word
in the
salt
actual
to
schmel?
us. Well, yeah, this is true. Oh, dangerous waters.
Oh no.
The U.S. Embassy in London intervened by brewing a storm with a social media post reassuring the good people of the UK that the unthinkable notion of adding salt to Britain's natural drink is not official United States policy. Let us unite in our steeped solidarity and show the world that when it comes to tea, we stand as one, said the tongue in cheek post. The U.S. Embassy will continue to make tea in the proper way by microwaving it. The embassy later clarified that its statement was a lighthearted play on our shared cultural connections rather than an official press release. Steeped, in contrast, is no joke. The product of 3 years' research and experimentation, the book explores more than 100 chemical compounds found in tea, puts the chemistry to use with advice on how to brew the better cup. Well, we don't really care, Frankel. She also advocates making tea in a pre-warmed pot, agitating the bag briefly but vigorously. Sounds hot right there. Previous. Stout. Stout mug to preserve the heat. She says milk should be added to the cup after the tea, not before. Another issue that often divides tea lovers. I kind of understood that there would hopefully be a lot of interest, she told the Associated Press. I didn't know we'd wade into diplomatic conversation with the U.S. Embassy. It made her ponder the ocean wide coffee tea divide that separates the U.S. and Britain. I wonder if we're just more caffeinated society. Coffee is higher in caffeine, or maybe we're just trying to rebel against our parent country. Well, the UK is not our parent country, just so you know. Although we did have an association with them, but they are not our parent country.
I
That
actually
was
had this one pulled too.
oh, you had that one pulled?
I have an oddities page, and this was on my oddities page. But yeah, look, I don't know about tea. We have an electric kettle. I would
Yeah,
never. Look, look, y'all know how to make tea. I don't know how to make
yeah,
tea. I know how to make sweet tea, but that is, I
completely
don't think, the
different.
same thing.
I've had
So,
sunbrewed tea. They used to make sunbrewed tea. I mean,
yeah.
that was back in the day whenever you had all the Lipton tea bags and you throw them in there in
Oh,
giant
yeah.
tea bags, all that kind of crap. I don't know if they still even have
Long
those.
Island iced teas. I
Oh
mean,
no, now Long Island iced teas.
Yes,
yeah.
I will
those are the
drink
only
more.
teas I drink.
I will drink those than I do actual tea, which is amazing. I can sit down and probably have like 5 or 6 of those and be feeling no pain.
And then you're asleep on the couch. It's a Thursday. And I was like, wait, thought it was Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big tea drinker anyway. I'm more of a coffee drinker, but I leave it to the people
Why?
that make and drink tea much more than I do.
Why would you put milk in tea? That sounds disgusting.
Why would you put coffee in tea or coffee and milk?
I don't. That also
Well, there's
sounds
people that do.
disgusting.
Well, there's people that do. Pour boiling
Why
water
would you
over
drink
tea gives you
coffee?
some momentum. Yeah. I drink coffee all the damn time. I'm drinking some right now, and it's probably gotten cold. You know.
I know mine's cold.
Yeah, I'll still drink cold coffee, and then I'll pour myself some more. Yeah. Now, see, that is true. Earl Grey is my favorite, but I don't do any creamer with it. I do like the Earl Grey. Um, I like my Earl Grey with just a little bit of sugar to it. Um, sort of, it's a different flavor, just slightly, not a whole lot. Don't like doing a whole lot of sugar in it. Yeah, Earl Grey is very yummy. Yeah, it's
I hate tea.
I'm going to have to try chamomile. It's supposed to help you calm people down.
I don't know. I don't know. You drinking it may not calm them down. Them drinking it may calm them
Well,
down.
Mhm.
calming me down will help
Oh,
me not catch a case. So,
so what time does your show start there, Mel? Are you doing one today?
I'm not doing a morning show today. I have to take all of the boys to the dentist and then lie to them about how much we're flossing. So, you
Mm,
know.
yeah, they'll know. They'll be able to tell the
Yeah.
Right.
difference.
Yeah, well, in my defense, have the youngest, most feral, on a good day, it takes 2 of us to help him floss his teeth. On a bad day, it takes the entire family. So,
Because you have to hold them down.
unless you are willing to come to my house, Miss Dentist Lady, and help me floss his teeth, we will be using the little kid pick things. We will not be using the actual floss. And look, we're trying our best.
Yeah,
It is
it
what
Right.
it
happens.
is.
Julie Pip says chamomile and spearmint is her favorite, which is awesome. Yeah, sweet tea, chamomile tea is good for stomach aches. Yes, that is true. Upset stomachs, it does help with that. And sweet tea is delicious. Yeah, that is a southern thing. My wife, being born and raised in the South, still doesn't not like sweet tea.
I hate sweet tea. Gross.
I like sweet tea, but I limit myself on it just for sugar intake. If you
I
want to see
like
somebody
the
bouncing off the walls.
Milo's sugar-free sweet tea, and then
Oh,
you
I hate
mix a
sugar
little bit
free.
of lemonade in it. I
Yeah,
love
the
an
chemicals in.
Arnold Palmer.
Okay,
Look,
yeah.
I am addicted to Diet Pop. I'm pretty sure I'm 100% Splenda right now,
Well, and that stuff
and
is so
aspartame.
dangerous. Ooh, that stuff
Much
is
more
so
sugar
dangerous.
fed. All
I
the
can't.
sugar.
I can't do. I would much rather do sugar than any sort of sugar free. Like if I have a choice between no sugar and sugar free, I go no sugar all the time. I just can't do it. The flavor just is. It's sickening to me. I mean, that's just me personally, and maybe it's the chemicals in it or something. Just oh,
Well, but you guys do coffee. See, I can't do coffee. I like cold caffeine. So I like the Coke Zero, which I think is whatever new
what
non.
you do know why there's an expiration date on Diet Coke, right? This is
Oh,
what started all the expiration dates on Diet Coke, because after a period of time, those chemicals react and create methane,
ooh,
which will kill you. So
everything's
that's
gonna kill me.
Well, no,
Shizzy.
I mean, if you drink it after its expiration date, the chances of getting very sick, very sick, are like 100 times worse. Like it becomes undrinkable. The only reason I know this is because I dated a girl that was doing the research on this.
Oh,
She
wow.
was a chemist, and they found that after, because those chemicals put in with whatever is in the Diet Coke, it produces methane inside there that will like hurt you internally, like really bad. So I was like, yeah, all the more reason why I never liked it in the first place. Maybe because it was
Okay.
just like
So I'm going to have to give up
dangerous.
smoking and pop, going straight to vodka. All right.
Yeah,
I'm working
I
on
think
some
that's a
things
great idea.
this year.
Oh, shout out to cold caffeine. There you go. No, I actually stopped
Guess I'm
drinking.
going to Monsters.
Yeah, I
There
stopped
you
drinking
go.
all kinds of well,
Celsius.
I won't drink Red Bull after I saw what happened to a guy at a concert after drinking like 20 or 30 of those things as a substitute for water. Yeah,
Oh, I
that was
mean,
that was because they were free. I mean, they were, Red Bull was sponsoring it, and they had all these Red Bulls, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm thirsty." So he's sitting there drinking these things and still
ugh.
thirsty because we're working, in 102-degree temperatures, and so he's pounding these things and watching him just like stand there and then just fall out as he, started like projectile vomiting the stuff. It was like, and passed out. I mean, he passed out and was projectile vomiting at the same time. It was the most insane thing I've
Ugh.
ever seen.
Thanks, Shizzy.
Oh, Lord.
Well, sorry. I mean, but yeah, I
Well,
can't drink Red Bull after that.
everything in moderation, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am attempting to drink more water.
Yes. Well, and water in the wintertime is very important because you get dried out and dehydrated, and it's good for your skin and all that kind of stuff. Makes you feel soft and supple, you know. Sort of like reminds me of Wild Bill. Yeah. Keeps
Yeah,
them in a
you
well,
know, just in
put
case
lotion
Ed
on.
Gein comes to visit, I want to make sure I make a nice vest.
Exactly.
See my vest. It's made from real mo chest.
Well, speaking of getting out of here, I'm gonna do the outro, and I'll see you guys in the back room. Peace, everybody. Have a good night or morning or wherever you're at.